Okay, hey guys. Some girls reporting on the mental on the neurological issues of Biden, which were on full display all of 2020, but he hid away from the public, blaming COVID. So we never really saw him anyway, but I did. I thought he was terrible then, and he's terrible now. And I don't really see I see a decline, but it for me, and I know a lot of you guys out there, if you've ever worked in a nursing home or, which I did for 5 years, well, actually 6 years, I did home health. I was in the practical nursing program in 1981 and 82, where I can tell you things were much different back then, where you actually had to be evaluated on your posture while you were washing your hands. I am not joking. That was one of the things in our syllabus. And like we had a full body mechanics module that we had to be graded on. And now all I see are, well, from being in the hospital for as long as what I did, and then in a rehab, overweight women that, in all honesty, could give a rat's ass really about the patient. And maybe a little bit. I might be being a little bit harsh. I'd say there were maybe 3 nurses in 4 months that I actually thought were okay. Just mean, nasty, throwing me around, treating me like crap, telling me to toughen up and shut up and be quiet. Patient abuse. And so as we see Biden, we see someone with definite neurological disorders. He did have 2 brain surgeries. No one mentions that. Which of course, I believe he's had a few strokes, small, mild ones, but enough where, and maybe even a series of them, enough where it's really affected him. Because when he trips and loses his balance and shit like that, that's not old age. I mean, although sure it could be, but even, I don't care how old you are, even if you are older, you can still do stops and you still don't lose your balance. If you are losing your balance and are missing steps and things like that, it's usually due to a medical condition that you've developed. And that could be blamed on old age. But in Joe Biden's situation, with having his brain messed with, he could have had an ischemic incident or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10 within the last few years. But he definitely had one that really fucked him up big time. He's wearing orthopedic shoes right now. I know the Daily Mail wants to tell me it's something else. No, I don't believe that they might look like Cole Haans, but they're not. They're full straight from the orthotist's office, okay? So the guy, is suffering. Although he's got like agitation and Alzheimer's. And if you're not in the US, that is like, there's a drug ad where they show this old person getting angry and yelling, and they're frustrated, and they're kind of waving their hands, or what. That's Biden. Turning and looking and losing your temper. His temperament is terrible. Turning over to Trump and calling him a sucker and a loser. And why didn't CNN bleep that out? Because if Trump would have tried something like that, they had a delay. I heard 5 seconds. I heard 3 minutes. Not sure. But there were a few times where things were edited and where the mics were turned off. And I would like to see a town hall style meeting with no holds barred. But let's stop talking about stupid shit like J6. And I don't know if I'm able to even discuss my thoughts on that. I already have. I okay. I you know what? Don't want to even talk about it. I believe it was an event. Uh, okay, that was planned in advance, and I believe that Trump was told various things, and they just took over. They just said, "Okay, fuck you. We don't like you anymore, or we want you out. We're putting this guy in, and we're going to make up a shitload of stuff about you in order to try to take you down." I mean, that's what the last 4 years have been. But we do have Ben Carson here, who is a neurologist, a neurosurgeon, which is pretty much about as high as you can go because you're dealing with your brain injuries, the whole neurological system, which if you don't have a neurological system in place, you die. Um, Essentially, and that includes the brain and the muscles and other anatomy that we could discuss another time. So, this is The Hill, which is a Lib newspaper, but I just wanted to read what he had. Like, he's weighed in on Biden, which I think is important. I think this is post debate, and that's what I'm looking for. Um, okay. So, he was in the spin room. Okay. Former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson said President Biden's shaky debate performance Thursday portrays the U.S. as a rudderless ship on the international stage. Very true. And that's a good way to put it. Trump, a former Trump administration official, joined The Hill on News Nation Friday to discuss, excuse me, questions over Biden's cognitive ability after concerns spread following Biden's lackluster performance in the debate against Trump. I am paraphrasing a little bit here. Okay, so I will say that I like Dr. Carson. Like, he's not an asshole doctor. He's not a fake doctor like Dr. Jill, whose thesis was loaded with typos and a lot of plagiarism. Honestly, even Tucker Carlson, who I don't care for at all, when he was still on Fox News, did a segment on that. I believe. I don't know. You know, a lot of this shit's been scrubbed. They already scrubbed Biden's fart. They scrubbed a fart. Luckily, I have this on my DVR. I'm going to go back and listen to it. I just didn't get that far. I started streaming somebody else's debate stream on Rumble. Rumble was down and then it came back up, and I was just getting too crazy and out of control up here anyway, and I was being very loud. I had my TV loud, and I do have neighbors I have to worry about. I mean, I just don't want to bother them, and you know, it's a nice building. I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want I don't want anyone else to feel as though I'm being too loud. Also, um, although I think it's generally okay. So let's keep going. There are a lot of people who are much older than Joe Biden who are perfectly cognizant. It's cognizant. Cognizant. Okay. Oh, maybe there's a Z in there. I'm seeing a lot of different spellings of words these days. Cognizant. It's cognizant of what's going on, expressing themselves well, and leading normal lives. This is so true. I mean, even when I was working at a brokerage firm, to my knowledge, there were men in Biden's age category. Yeah, they were older, but they were brilliant. They were doing well, and they had a lot of clients and made a shitload of money. Um, or maybe we're even just working. I don't know if they. I don't think they were working part time. Dead serious. Um, a lot of attorneys work well into their 80s. Um, this is it's a special case because you have someone that I believe has neurological problems, but will continue. I wish Carson would comment on it, but I don't know. It, I don't know. I think he feels like it might be like he might be attacked, and that might look bad for the Trump people right now. Anyway, I think short in a short time frame, we're going to find out more about what exactly is going on with him. Okay. Let's see. There are a lot of, okay, I already said that. I apologize. You have to ask yourself the question, if you were a patient, you're about to have surgery, and someone like Joe Biden showed up, would you undergo that surgery? Would you get on an airplane if someone like him showed up as a pilot? Uh, okay. I get it. All right. So if you're a patient laying on the table and Biden shows up going blah, 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 would you let that person operate on you? No. If you were in an airplane and he was the pilot, would you let Joe be the pilot? Fuck no. Um, mhm. Would you let someone like that drive a school bus your kid was on? Of course you wouldn't, he continued, and we want to give him the most responsible position in the world. Right there. Let's read it one more time. Hang on. A little sip of water there. And at this point, no, I don't want Biden replaced. And he's not going to go anyway. You know, that man is going to have to be put on a sedated, put on Jill Biden, the wife. She's going to have to be sedated, put on a stretcher. She's more crazy than Hillary Clinton. And Hillary was just going crazy after she lost that election. She just thought she was heir apparent. No sweat, no problem. Hey, man, right? She just had a bad campaign. Very similar to Joe's 2020. They also did a lot of green screening at the Hillary events. All those YouTube videos have been pulled down by YouTube. I mean, we live in a country right now that is fully censored. YouTube is the biggest app that should I even say this? I think they've done the most censoring, and they've pulled down so many videos, it's not even funny. Okay. Okay. So if you have to, I'm reading this again. You have to ask yourself the question, if you were a patient, you're about to have surgery, and somebody like Joe Biden showed up, would you undergo that surgery? Would you get on an airplane if somebody like him showed up as a pilot? Right now, I wouldn't get on an airplane anyway until the FAA starts cleaning that shit up. That Biden. That's another thing that Trump could mention. What is Biden's FAA doing right now to oversee the various airline problems and Boeing airline problems? I mean, I read one article where there was someone a whistleblower that said that they were using Dawn dish detergent as lubricant and credit cards as tools to do the testing instead of getting the right stuff on different parts of the plane. We're talking about an airplane here. I also read in one of the whistleblower articles that I read that the guy that killed himself, well, I think he was taken out, he was ready to testify, and I guess he was blew his did he blow his brains out or something? Yeah, I doubt that. Obama stepped in for that quick one. He said that they interviewed various people from Boeing who were anonymous, saying it is the best place in the city or state or whatever to get pot, to get drugs, to get marijuana, to get weed. You know, that you could get anything you wanted there. Everybody was wasted while they were working, and that's why these planes are falling apart and shit. And the media has probably been told not to report on it anymore. They probably have a blackout on it. That bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, what the fuck with that? That seemed more like a terror event or a 9/11 to me. I think that was intentional. It looked that way. And all of a sudden, no one's talking about it. No one's looking into it. There isn't a commission on it. Joe Biden stood up and said, they were fixing potholes for the public in the middle of the night. They were working people just like me. Joe Biden, you have not worked at all, you old fuck. You went to law school, got a job in I think, local government or some shit, and in 1973, you were installed as the piece of shit that you are. I still remember the Tara Reid interview where she said, and I quote, Joe Biden fingered her, lifted her dress up, and was trying to rape her. I believe her. I had not been cornered like that, but I had at least, oh, for fuck's sake, you guys aren't, at least 100 incidents, at least one or two a day were in a 5-year period. I worked at the brokerage firm where I had shit like that happening at around the same time that Tara's talking about in the 80s, in the late 80s, early 90s. Oh my God. Most of the time I just ignored it. And there was this one guy, I mean, he was a funny person, He was just a pig, I and he and he'd say, "Well, did you hear what I just said to you?" I said, "Yeah, I heard you, and I'm ignoring you." He used to grab my butt. He used to grab my boob. Uh, Not kidding. I'd be making a coffee, and he'd be at the coffee machine, and but he was bringing in so much money for the firm. Nothing was. It just was like I had to get back to my desk because I knew that my boss would be on my ass if I wasn't. So sort of like that. Why were you gone so long? Oh, because so and so just grabbed my tit. I wouldn't have worked during the 80s. So I do fully believe Tara Reid, and I know you guys probably don't believe me, but you have to because I'm not bullshitting on this channel here. And yeah, I believe Joe Biden probably did that to a lot of women. That wasn't the first. He took showers with his own daughter. He did not do a good job raising his children. They all have psychological issues due to just the environment that they were in, where I'm going to make the assumption mommy or daddy just gave them money to do whatever they wanted, so they just wouldn't complain and they'd just keep going. I'm assuming that. Oh, honey, that really didn't happen with your dad and the showers and all that. Please just block that out of your memory. Oh, here's a new car. Enjoy it. I don't know. I'm just trying to give an example. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people grow up in really toxic environments, but that was really toxic. But for some reason, they haven't broken off from that family because there's so much cash, moolah, perks, planes, jewelry, clothing, drugs, cars, whatever these kids want, they're getting, and they're doing a whole huge money laundering operation over there in Ukraine. And you know, you think Jill, they're so, and so they make up. Uh, Forget it. They make up a bunch of bullshit on Trump. It's just like fucking ridiculous. Okay, I'll calm down. So yeah, we can't. That's a good way that Ben Carson put it. You have to ask yourself the question: if you were a patient, you're about to have surgery, someone like Joe Biden showed up, would you undergo that surgery? Fuck no. Huh. That, and that's really sad. Just, yeah, okay, I totally. Would you get on an airplane if somebody like him showed up as a pilot? Would you let somebody like that drive a school bus with your kid on, was if your kid was on it? Of course you wouldn't. And we want to give him the most responsible position in the world. Well, actually, I think Jill Biden and Blinken are running the show. I don't know where Newland is. Yeah, I know it's supposedly she resigned, but I think she's still there. She's they just added someone to amp up the war and the war propaganda and the whole war machine. Um, Carson, who ran against Trump in 2016 in the 2016 presidential race. Now, I don't have a problem with the fact that he ran against Trump in 2016 because he had started his campaign around the same time as Trump. And I've told this story already a few times, but my boss, who knows a lot of neurosurgeons, he called me up, and I got the message late after the fact. I did call him back, and he said, Colleen, you come out to watch Ben Carson with me at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds, and I got the message. I called him back. He said, "Oh my God, I just love this man." And, I went to a Walmart before that started falling apart, and I saw an older couple, with a Ben Carson bumper sticker. I saw a lot of Ben Carson bumper stickers actually. The summer of 2015. So he announced, and then he dropped out. He's like, you know what? I can see that I'm not going to win this thing. And he dropped out. The thing that pisses me off about this Borgrim guy is that he decided to, oh my God, he gave away $20 gift cards for any amount of money. It could have even been a penny, for fuck's sake. So that he could show that he had individual donors, which was a requirement to get in the RNC campaign, or excuse me, debate. You had to show that you had X number of individual donors in order to qualify. So he kept doing this and kept giving these $20 gift cards out. Many of the people that received the $20 gift cards claim that they took that $20 and gave it to the Biden campaign. Thank you, Borgrim. But he had the balls to say, you know what, I'm going to challenge Donald Trump. I don't like him, so I'm going to run against him. And you guys are saying, well, he didn't say he didn't like him. He said if he liked him, he would not have run against him. He would have tried to support him instead of trying to compete with him, even though no one knew who the fuck he was. He's also a guy that's into all this Green New Deal shit, too, so be careful with that. North Dakota will be carbon neutral by 2030. I swear to God, if that guy's a vice president, I don't know. Okay. Carson said Biden's lack of energy and difficulty finishing his thoughts puts the U.S. at risk because the rest of the world was watching the debate too. Those concerns also sparked calls, even from members of the incumbent's own party, uh, to drop out. Okay, we know that already. They know they are a rudderless ship, no leadership whatsoever. Carson told host Blake Berman that's going to cause some of our adversaries to be more adventurous, and that could really result in a catastrophic situation. Well, I think it already has resulted in a catastrophic situation. He also argued that Dems who want to keep Biden as America's leader are putting us all at risk. They're all getting something out of it. He's not going to come out and say it right now. Eventually, this stuff is going to come out. I can't believe how protected Biden is, though. Can you imagine, like, working for him in the military at the White House? Like, having to be cursed with that? Ugh. He also argued Dems want to keep, during the onstage rematch between Biden and Trump, foreign policy was a key issue. Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, I disagree with a lot of, I just want to, it's like, should be nothing. There is no reason for the United States to be involved with any of these people right now, except to try to build bridges and build relationships with them. And not by giving them money or weapons. That's such bullshit, too. All they're doing is printing the money and sending it over there. It's not even real anymore. Okay. So I won't talk about those other people. I know you guys probably don't agree with me. Let's see if we can find another article. But I would say, I wish Dr. Carson would go ahead and give us his assessment, because it's clear that he has a neurological disorder. I really don't care for the Gateway Pundit. It just is so tedious. Okay, so this is from a week ago. It's old. The threat of the 25th Amendment may convince Biden to stand down. No, he's not standing down. No, he's just not. Dr. Ben Carson, Joe Biden is a laughingstock around the world. That seems pretty accurate. Let's make sure the volume's up. Okay.
Congressman Jackson voices the concerns that many of us have and have had.
This is the same video from last weekend.
For quite some time. And, it's almost like a ship out at sea during a storm with a captain who's impaired.
We've already heard this. Former Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Ben Carson talks about President Biden's health after he has been told to stop taking his heart medication while he is recovering from COVID. Okay. I think that Dr. Carson can make his own decisions. I don't know what kind of heart medication he's on. Are they trying to kill him too now? Okay. He asked the world to pray for him. Oh, come on. What? He's too good. I don't care for Maria either. How can anyone listen to these people? They've been like, they've had like some sort of a voice training where they sound so unnatural. If they would just be themselves, maybe I could listen to it. they over pronunciate their consonants right now. That's what I'm getting. It's almost, isn't it hard to listen to? I don't know. This goes back to the 8th. Well, hmm. Okay. So, what have they changed the keystrokes again on this? Okay, so that's about it. I mean, I believe he has cognitive issues, so